Hello, everyone. Hey there, Jamie.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Happy
Happy
Halloween. I
Happy
borrowed this
Halloween,
fancy
everyone. Look at
hat,
that.
but I
Oh,
probably won't wear it for the whole time.
well, it's the perfect hat for web development, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Oh,
Because
hey,
you can use.
there is someone in the chat. We were kind of worried that maybe
Oh, good.
you had the wrong one.
Yay, Patty. Hey, Patty
So
from Ireland who's joining us. Yes, that's
maybe
right.
everyone's getting ready to like do Halloween parties or trick or treat or something.
That's right. That's right. That could be, yes, yes. Oh, I've got Finnegan here. Hello.
Oh, hi, Finnegan.
Yeah, he's not wearing a costume, and neither am I. I'm just wearing my Hacktoberfest shirt, but I thought I'd fancy it up with an orange collar today. But
Very
that's as
fancy.
fancy as I get for now. Oh, Kay says you're trying to steal my witch name. I don't know. But yeah, did you show the brim with the spider on it?
Oh, yes. Which way? There's a big spider on
There
it.
we go. Big spider. So that's good for web development.
Yeah, I'm visiting my parents, and so one of their friends was like, "You don't have a costume, have a hat." And I was like,
Have a
"Okay."
hat.
I guess she got like a fancier hat than this one. So this is her old hat.
That's nice. Oh, that's good. So at this moment, we only have 5 people watching us live, but I'm sure more will come in as we go through the hour. And hello to everyone who's watching it after the fact. But happy Hacktoberfest. The end. This is the final day of Hacktoberfest, as it is Halloween,
Yes,
the final day of Hacktober.
it is.
Hacktober.
It is the final day.
It
I
is
mean,
the.
although people can
We go
add
on.
to the code all year round, so
That's
it's
right.
not just limited to October. We just don't do like this, like
If we don't do
live
this,
chat.
we don't make a
Yeah.
big deal of it like we do during
No.
October, because it's fun. It's fun to zoom in and do this for 1 month, but we couldn't sustain it all year long. That would just be too much. But there is a Hacktoberfest does live a little bit longer next week, because on WikiTree Day, which is November 5th, which is the official birthday of WikiTree, there'll be a number of different events and live casts that day, and one of them will be at this time, 1 o'clock Eastern time, though by next week it'll be Eastern Standard Time, because we lose our daylight savings time this weekend and we fall back. So don't forget to change your clocks back. So 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, November 5th, we'll have a big wrap up of Hacktoberfest as part of the WikiTree Day celebrations. And for those who haven't joined us during these regular updates, they'll get a preview of all the things that have happened through the month, and maybe we'll have a little panel or some discussion about other things overall. So we'll see. And then the one thing that we've added to WikiTree Week is on Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, we actually have a Zoom session set up. So it'll be an hour-long Zoom session, and it's a tech Q&A. So I'll be hosting that, and hopefully some of my other techie friends will join me. And it's an opportunity for any WikiTreeers to come on and ask any questions about any of the tree apps or potentially the browser extensions, or any tech problem questions you have on WikiTree, and we will try and solve them for you. Or if not, we'll write them down and figure out the solutions later. So those are 2 things that are coming up for WikiTree Week, so we can sort of extend Hacktoberfest, or the spirit of Hacktoberfest, just 1 more extra week. So, so one of the things we talked about, and that you mentioned in the Genealogy post just introducing this, was about that our list of tree apps is getting pretty long, Jamie. So are we going to do anything about that? What should we think?
So Brian, who's our main tech guy and the guy who's programmed the API, he doesn't participate in G2G too much, I don't think, if at all. But he does post in the WikiTree apps Google group. If you ever have a question for him, that's a good place to post techie questions related to the API and stuff. But he posted earlier this month, and I will post up on the screen. Can you guys? Oh wait, no, I gotta add to stage. Okay, maybe we can make it bigger. Yeah, so he posted. Yeah, beginning of October. Basically, the list of apps is getting pretty long, and so we're kind of thinking about dividing them into different categories of apps. And so we need everyone's help, kind of, to think about what sort of categories the different apps could fit into. My hat's falling off. And you know, how we should change the top menu of tree apps to accommodate picking different categories and navigating the different apps that there are, because hopefully the number of apps is going to keep growing as the years go on. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's ever going to have the amount of apps that like the WikiTree browser extension has features, but if it does get up there, that would be a giant mess to have to navigate through and drop down. So yeah, so if you have any ideas, you can either post in the WikiTree apps Google group, where if you don't, actually, let me post a link to that in the chat, because it's kind of hard to find sometimes.
Yeah. I get the message directly in my inbox. Does everyone get that?
So if you I can't talk. If you have joined the Google group, then yes, and you have emails enabled, you will get the email. But if you haven't joined yet, I think the only link to it is on the project
free space page.
So, but I will just post that link in here.
Okay.
So this is the link that's coming up soon, hopefully.
There it is.
And then the other place that there's been some talk about it is on Discord. So there's a thread under the Hacktoberfest channel called Tree Apps Categories. We did have one idea. So Mike Bremford made a sort of like a demo of what he was thinking about how to navigate. So I will show that in a second.
I just saw that channel under the Hacktoberfest. They seem to be hidden by default, right? You have to almost look for them.
Did it not?
Well,
did it not show up?
I think I saw it originally, but I haven't done anything recently, so it didn't pop up as something. So I had to go
I tried to bump it today so it would show up, but yeah, I'm not sure why the threads sometimes disappear. But yeah, so this was the idea that Mike had, was it kind of looks like the apps page where there's different squares for the apps and where you can see a picture and a description, and if you clicked on that, it would take you to the app. So this is really the only idea there's been so far. Not many people have participated in the discussion. So yeah, if you have ideas, please share them so we can figure out how best to add categories to the different apps and improve the menu. And so that is all I have to say about that.
That's all you have to say about that. Okay. Great. Now, for a moment there, I lost this browser window. So that means, of course, everything else I've set up today is now. Oh, and now I've lost the browser window again. There we go. And we're back. So Jamie has been very busy adding the tree apps. The tree apps that people have been working on and been showing you now are officially in the tree apps for everyone to enjoy. So
yes.
I'm just going to share. So, and did that take a lot of work, Jamie, to do?
No. I just, so that when someone adds a brand new tree app, there's a couple extra steps that I have to do. And sometimes stuff doesn't work properly. So there's kind of like a special redirect. So I have to like edit some files. So like you can't just like plop the code down into WikiTree live site and have it work immediately. So there's a couple of things I have to change. But and so like there was a couple bug or adjustments that had to be made to get stuff working. But other than that, like everyone, you know, didn't or submitted working code. So it wasn't too bad.
And no one's code ruined someone else's code and brought the whole system down or anything like that.
No, there was an issue though where there was a name change for one of the files for CC7. So you might have to do a hard refresh of your browser window just to make sure that the cache is cleared so those old files get reset. Because I know there's been a couple people that like can't access tree apps right now because like it thinks that files are missing because they were renamed. So yeah, if you're having trouble with that, try clearing the cache. If it's still broken, maybe email me and I'll see if I can do anything about it. But yeah, other than that, it should be pretty good.
They could always just shut down their computer completely and then restart it again. That should reset. That would definitely reset the cache, right? Wouldn't it?
I don't know, because I think one of the people that was having an issue said that they did that and it didn't fix it. So I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, so I'm going to show a couple of them that have been added to the tree apps, and I'm going to use my my adoptive self handle, which has I've been very lucky. The WikiTree user IDs that have given to me have been very cool, numerically speaking. Like my original one, the one I use all the time, is Clark-11, like 11, then 007. So that's pretty cool. And this one, now you can't, I can zoom in, but it won't zoom in, is Clark, and it's 23588. So 2358 are like the first four numbers of the Fibonacci series. And then 2 8s in a row is 88, which is the number of keys on a piano. So I couldn't have asked for a better number. But we're not here to revel in the mathematics of that. We're going to go into tree apps. And the first one we're going to look at is the ancestor cemeteries. And this one was done by is it Douglas? Was this Douglas Cohn? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And by default, it'll show you the first 10 entries, and it will give you, now for me, it'll only give on my adoptive side, I only have 31 direct ancestors, so it's not going to go any further back than that. But you can show up to 100 if you want, and then you get the whole list, and it's alphabetical by ancestor. Apparently, I have an unknown. There's Susan. Oh, right, yeah, okay. That's someone who I don't know what her maiden name is, so that's a bit of a brick wall there. And then it just lists your ancestors, first and last name, and the cemetery that they are buried in if you have added the cemetery category. And so you can see my local cemetery, which is just a couple miles away from the Catholic church I played in when I grew up. I've got them listed, but I think there's some more that belong in St. Columkill Cemetery that I haven't listed. But one great thing about this app is, first of all, it gives you that information, and then it makes it very obvious the ones that you haven't added those cemetery categories for. So it's a nice little kick in the pants to say, hey buddy, maybe you should add some categories to those profiles, which is nice because then you can just click on the profile, because I actually know where Mary Appleton is buried. She's buried in the Beaverton, St. Joseph's Cemetery in Beaverton. So if I open that right now, if you click on it, it'll reload her profile over the tab. I'm just going to back up a bit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down my command key on my Mac, or you could hit control key on your PC, or you could just right click and choose open link in new tab, and then that'll open up Mary Victoria Appleton. And it looks like I need to add a bit more information in her profile here. So that is on my to-do list now. And so there is a nice little search too. So if you only wanted to look at the fountains there, you could do that. See those. So that's the Ancestor Cemeteries, which is now available for everyone to check out. And if I were to load, say, one of my French Canadian ancestors, it shows up to 63. So the maximum it looks like is 63 entries, which for me goes up to my what did I say? Did I say second great, fourth great grandparents? Let me just go back to, let's go back to my own again. I think it was fourth great grandparents, second great grandparent or fourth great. It was an even number of let's see, Cloutier is my third great grandfather, third great grandparents, it looks like, as far as it goes. So the other app that is now is the Heritage Charts, and that was David, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was on last week, and
he was here last week and showed this off. Yeah.
What he was doing, and now it's on the actual Treehouse site instead of the development version. Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually made a pull request last night that I have not, it's just a couple bug fixes of stuff that people, I think there was an issue with England. If it was England, United Kingdom or something, it wouldn't do the country.
Right.
And then there was some other bugs. So he fixed those, but I have not made them live yet. So people are still working on stuff, even though it's the last day.
Isn't that wild? Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So if you go for 10 generations, it'll take a moment to, but there we have, look at that, Nouvelle France and France. Color coded the same. Are they the same colors or are they slightly different? They look the same to me. Are they different? Okay.
Yeah,
part of color here. Now, this is, I don't know if this was on one of the previous versions, but I had hovered over the slivers and nothing came up. But now, if I hover over the slivers, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, you can't. There's a pop-up, a pop-up pops up. But because I'm just sharing one window and not my whole screen, you don't see that, but you can trust me, there is an actual pop-up now popping up as I hover over some of these things. And my laptop wants to re-update things. So I have to keep clicking these, do not close this down. So I don't know why now it's decided it wants to update in the middle of my live cast. So if I disappear suddenly, Jamie, it's because I didn't click a no, don't update now button fast enough. I've had to get 2 of those out of the way already.
Oh, wow. So yesterday when I was testing out some of the heritage chart stuff, I realized that a lot of my ancestor locations were pretty bad.
Yes.
So I spent a lot of time going through and fixing locations just so stuff would look good. And one of the locations was in what is now Germany. So I was like, I have no idea how to name these locations correctly. So I asked the German channel in Discord, and I got a big list of 18. I don't know if it was 18. It was a long list of all the different ways, where it's 3 years it's in France, and then then it goes back to Germany, and then it goes. So I got to fix that. But all the other locations are fixed. Except for
Germany. You can see here. Let me zoom in a bit there. This is now at my 4th great grandparent level. Quebec is a legit place. Saint-Geneviève-de-Batiscan is a town inside Quebec, as is Château-Richer, Saint-Constant-de-Maure, Sainte-Anne-de-la-Pérade. All of those, need to have, Province de Quebec added to it, or Quebec or something like that. So, or Bas-Canada, they could be part of that, depending on whether it's before or after 1791. Yeah. So you're right.
Yeah, there was a bit of confusion in well, maybe not confusion, but misunderstanding about like where the place names are coming from. They're coming from the birth locations of your ancestors.
Right.
So yeah, if those aren't right, then you're going to get some weird stuff in the chart. I don't know if it's going to be updated to like equate stuff like USA with the United States, or if we're going to like combine Pennsylvania with like colonial United States. I don't know like how people want that to be show up in the chart, because like right now there were like 4 different ways that Massachusetts Bay was listed on my ancestors, and I'm like, I need to figure out which one is right for that. And then
that's
it's like
question.
Yeah. So there's some questions that still need to be figured out about that.
Yeah.
But it is really cool seeing
it's
cards.
very cool. It's very cool. Yeah. And look at here there's a whole pile of, and these are not all unique. So yeah, it's a red flag to clean up your tree and make things more standardized and stuff. Now it would be nice if it was if it would take synonyms for at least the same time period. So whether it's USA or United States or United States of America, if it treated all of those the same and then put them in one bundle, that would be nice. Just like Canada and Dominion of Canada, which is the official name, or was the official name, at least at one point. But I don't know I don't think anyone on WikiTree uses Dominion of Canada. I've never seen that. But I do know that was the official name at one point in time. So yeah, cool stuff. Anyways, it's really nice to see these things that we've been talking about all month and people have been working on are now finally there for everyone to be able to access easily. So great work, everyone, and great work, Jamie, making that available. So I'm going to stop for now, and you've got some other work that's been that people have been working on that you want to show off, right?
Yes. So Riel did quite a few updates to the CC7 app. So let me quickly review the list of things he did before I share my screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me share my
There's a
screen.
huge list. Yes, I saw that before.
It's like, well, so I was also working on a CC7 improvement,
which is
I didn't realize that Riel was like going to update it. So I kept having to like merge in the changes to my code and fix stuff. Because like I think he did some refactoring too. And so it was like, well, now I have to change how I was doing that. But it all worked out. And I probably will have to have him help me improve the thing I've been working on, which I will show in a bit. Okay, so here, I think this is the wrong one. Sorry.
Well, we're not sharing yet, so.
Okay. Stop screen share.
Tommy must have posted this while I was sharing my heritage charts with all the wrong names in the country.
Did I get the wrong one again?
Okay.
It's probably not. I'm not very good at
refactoring.
At Zoom, apparently, or at whatever this is, StreamYard. Okay.
StreamYard.
This is the right one. Okay. Okay,
there we go.
So this is, I'm gonna know that because I will block stuff. So this is the current CC7 views app. I used John Adams just because I know that there were no private people in the in the thing. So the first thing that was added was a new way to sort locations. So I think, was it Tommy that was the one that reported this issue where, so previously the way it worked is that if you sorted birthplace, it would switch between like town first and then, you know, bigger area to country.
Right.
And then if you click sort, it would do country first. But then there was no way to like reverse sort that. So that's been changed. So now, like, if you click on the sort, it will sort by name, and then you can reverse sort. So the W's will be on top. But then now there's this little icon on the side where if you click it, it will switch. So the state or country will be first, and then you can also reverse sort that. So it just makes things a little bit easier when you're sorting. So that's, and I think he also made some improvements or like fixed some bugs that had to do with that as well. So yeah, so that was one improvement. And then the other improvement was that sorting by age only worked, or it only looked at the year, I guess. So now it's taking the full date, and so sorting will be a little bit more accurate, I think.
Oh, okay.
So
people born in 1692 may not necessarily be January, February, March, or they could be January, March, February, randomly before.
Yeah. So yeah, so you can see that like here it's 1662, January's first, and then August is next. So that was another improvement. And then, a big one that's probably noticeable. So I think a month or so ago, maybe longer than that, Ian had updated the CC7 app to add this relationship column. It worked fine testing on the dev server, on the staging server, but as soon as it got to the live site, this column would not work. There was an error. It was empty.
Oh no.
And so that has been fixed. So now you can see the relationship to people. So GF means grandfather, grandmother, father, So that's nice because like I could not figure out why it wouldn't work. And so I know it was frustrating for Ian. Because worked hard on it and it was just broken just on the live site and it would work fine everywhere else.
Right.
So I'm very happy that that's off my to-do list.
Right.
And I didn't even have to do it.
I voted mine, and I've got something that says second GGU in the relationship column. Second GGU. So I think that's probably second great granduncle, right?
Yeah. And I know that there's like NE for nephew, I think, and NI for niece, maybe.
I did.
Yeah, I know that was updated as well too. So that's kind of cool, and I think it fills in the table for the browser extension as well. It does something like that. I don't quite remember.
Okay.
Just because if you're already gathering the data, might as well fill it in other places that might be used. Yeah. I just saw Rail's comment.
Yes. A lot of refactoring. So, for those who are on the... I was going to say, Jamie, there might be some people who are watching or listening who don't know what that word refactoring means.
So basically, it's making the code like better. I'm trying to
like more efficient.
More efficient. So like if there's code that's repeated in different places, maybe making a function that will that you can call other places, or if there's something that's inefficient, changing it so it's faster, or splitting things off into different functions or files if needed, or reusable code. Thank you, Tommy. I am not good at explaining things on the fly, so
No, that's good. That's good. I mean, I could talk about factoring in mathematics. But actually, the way you describe it, if there are things that are repeated, that is sort of like factoring, because you take out the common factor and then you just refer to it multiple times as opposed to repeating it over and over again.
Real has a better description, and I need to grab a Kleenex real fast. Sorry. I'm sweating.
Thanks, Riel, for that. Reusable code, yes. Reusable code is very useful.
It is. It is.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how. Maybe if I push my change first, then he'll have to adjust the code to work with my stuff. So there was one more change, I think, that he made, which is pretty noticeable. So you might see this stats button here.
Ooh.
So if you click that,
I love stats.
You get stats for your CC whatever number that you picked. So that's sort of like the ancestor, or I guess it's called
generation stats.
Generational statistics now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically the same thing, but for your CC7, which is cool.
Very cool.
So yeah. So that is what I think. Let me double check to make sure that was everything that he added. I believe so. And if not, let me know.
Yes.
Since he's in the
chat. So
now I guess I get to show what I've been working on, which has been a long time coming. And it's not too impressive, but let me stop sharing. So this is something that actually Chris Whitten has really wanted me to do and bugs me about like every other week. So I think my first app that I made was missing links.
Right.
So and well, no, I think missing links was first. I made it originally because there was this thing called connection combat where they would. This was like when I first joined, and what kind of got me hooked on WikiTree was that they would pick two famous people, and they would have a connection, and they were both unconnected, and so they'd have a connection combat, and whoever got connected first, I think, would end up in the 3 people at the bottom that we would calculate for everybody.
Oh, right.
Because you didn't used to be able to like see your connection to everybody on demand. It was just you could only see to the 3 chosen people for that week. And I think it was like the famous person that won connection combat and Kevin Bacon and maybe Queen Elizabeth. Like So yeah, I was like really into that, and I was like, I want to make an app to help me win. So I was like, well, what's the best way to find how to connect people? And I was like, well, if someone is missing relationships and there's a possible connection there. And then I was like, and I can probably connect somebody if I find a US person in there. So I kind of made missing links to, I didn't even share missing links on the screen. I'm talking about it without sharing.
You're leaving us in mystery. We're in suspense here. Yes, there we go.
Well, this is my old app.
This is the old.
This is why I made this basically, so I could win that. And then I realized, like, hey, because I stopped connection combat eventually, because I think it was just me and Scott. I can't remember his last name. He's part of the Notables project.
Okay.
That would participate. It wasn't very many people that would participate.
Oh.
But so then I started building my what is now called the CC7, but I was just like, I want to fill out my tree to try to get my connection to the people shorter, because I wanted to like see if I can make my connection to like Kevin Bacon shorter. Fulkerson, thank you, Azure. I'm really bad with names. so I made this, and then I was like, I shared it, and people kind of liked it, and someone came up with the name Missing Links, although they don't have a WikiTree account anymore, so I don't know who it is anymore.
No.
But so I think that was like probably 2018 that I made this, and it was before the API became more efficient, where you could get information on multiple people at once. So it's very, very slow because it does one by one. And so, yeah, like if you type in a big number, I think, so a couple months ago, somebody put in a very large number, and they just, because I had some pretty good error checking where if it failed, it would retry until it did it again. I think it ran for like 20 hours and made several dozen thousand calls to the API. So once Ian added the CC7 app, I started directing people to there and then last Hacktoberfest I added the missing family drop down thing on CC7. Let me switch my screen to that.
Okay.
This is the right. No, this is the wrong one again. The titles are the same, so I'm just like, eh.
Yes. Okay. And you have to realize that Jamie has so many screens. She's like me, except that hers are very powerful, so she just can't share her whole desktop at once because she'd give away state secrets.
Yeah, I do have to be careful about revealing.
That's hard.
So
yeah,
I don't want to accidentally reveal like someone's private information.
No.
Okay, so this is
back to CC7.
Yeah, so this is the CC7 app as it is now, and so there's this drop down where you can pick missing family, and these little checkboxes will come up, and it will only show you people that are missing, or that are missing a parent, that don't have the no more spouses box checked, that don't have the no more children box checked, or they don't have any children at all and don't have the box checked to signify that they don't have any children. So it basically shows like places where there might be connections you can make. So that's, I just added the drop down to filter the table, and then Riel added the check boxes, which are really cool.
Nice.
And so I was trying to direct people to this because it's better than my app. But I've gotten a lot of people that prefer the layout of my old app. Like they think it's simpler and they just want to see an app. And one of those people is Chris. So he's been bothering me about it. So I finally have almost completed it. So now there is a missing links button, which will basically give you the same layout as the previous one. And I'm still working on the top menu because Chris wanted it as simple as possible without any extra stuff. So it's basically the same thing as my old app. Like the yellow signifies like there might be a missing person there because one of the checkboxes isn't checked, and then a red is either that there's 0 children or spouses, or that there's a missing parent. So it's just kind of a simple way. It's not sortable yet. It's just simple, and these checkboxes don't work yet, and it's easy to get back to the other things.
Yeah, that's nice too. So the zeros, I saw that there were some zeros in the column that weren't red, so that means that they have a no more children or no more siblings already checked.
So I believe.
So it's not a red flag for.
Yeah, so it's not red because that would mean that the box was checked, and so
box was checked.
They're supposed to have 0 children. And same for the spouses. If there's a spouse and it's not yellow, that means that the no more spouses box has been checked. And as you can see, every single person in this report has some sort of color, because if they don't have a missing relative or a possible missing relative, they won't show up in this list.
Okay. So you're not going to waste your time with.
Yeah, you're not going to waste your time scrolling. It's if they're on here, they're probably missing somebody, or you need to check a checkbox.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's the main thing I was working on, and then the other thing was that Chris wanted the ability to link directly to a specific view. And so last month, Stephen Harris updated Tree Apps to allow for extra parameters. So now you can, I've updated it to take the number of degrees, so it will change the I don't think I can show the address bar in here. No, but yeah, so yeah, you can, like, in the address bar do a degrees parameter with like up to 7, because it only does up to 7, and it will go straight to that, so you don't have to change it on the form. This only works on my test one for now.
Oh,
if you're looking for it here. I saw you typing. I was like, you won't be able to see it yet.
No, it still went to 5 degrees.
Yeah, and then there's also a CC7 view parameter. So depending on what you put, it will basically click one of these buttons and go directly to that. So like if you prefer the list view or the table view or the stats view, you can create a link. So that's what I've been working on.
Right. And so is there somewhere like in the settings button or somewhere where you can copy that link so you can give it to someone else so they could share that? So if you've got, like, I'm thinking, I haven't done this yet for the fan chart because I didn't get to working on any of the tree apps. I've been working on this mystery box app all month. But one of the options I was thinking for the fan chart was to have a place where you could, once you've customized the chart to look the way you want it, to be able to copy that URL with all those parameters to give to email to someone else or share. So do you have
you could do that. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
It could be a future improvement. But yeah, I think you would just grab, you would, as somebody's clicking on different settings, you could either update the URL or just save it somewhere and then provide that for them. And like you would be the one, if you were adding the parameters, to choose what they are.
Right.
It's really easy. Basically, when you're setting up an app, you just add a little line of code to say what parameters you want to accept in the setup, and then you can use them in your code.
Right.
So,
but you haven't decided where you would put, if you were going to do that, where you would put that sort of copier. Just thinking out loud on the fly, because I asked you the question and haven't thought of the answer myself. But I'm now thinking that, like, right next to the settings button, you know how with the browser extension we have the copy and paste scissors over WikiTree ID and all that sort of stuff. Maybe a similar icon could be up in the right-hand corner next to the to the settings button, which would basically copy the current view and its parameters, so that anyone could easily grab that. And
yeah, that could be an option.
I don't know. Is that something that could be coded tree app wide, so maybe up in the top portion, or is that something that should be handled inside the apps? Or maybe this isn't a discussion for right now, but it's
that's part of the discussion we should have on the menu and categories and stuff like that.
Yes, maybe that's where it belongs. Or the discussion does belong. Anyways, people who are watching us live, you can chime in and give your thoughts on the ideal place to copy and paste parameters for custom setups of tree apps and whatnot.
So John asked if there could be an app for missing siblings. So it probably could be added. The reason I didn't add it is just because it would really only be useful, I think, in the seventh degree, just because otherwise it would show up as missing children under the parents.
Right. Yeah. Because my missing siblings are my parents' missing children.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there is a checkbox
For no more siblings.
But I don't think a lot of people check that checkbox to say that all the siblings are there. I know.
Now, I wonder if you've checked no more siblings, but your parents haven't checked no more children, or vice versa.
Yeah.
There's sort of.
Well, it's like you could compute if there would be no more siblings based on the parents, I think. Like if both the person's parents have the box that say that they have no more children, then you can assume that they don't have any more siblings. Otherwise, assume that they might be missing siblings.
But you would have to check. You'd have to check both parents, right? Because they could be half siblings.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. That's interesting.
Possible improvements.
Yeah. Well, and even checking those boxes doesn't actually prevent you from adding a new sibling when you discover that there's one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's mostly just a flag.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the first times I emailed. I think it was Chris or Brian or something, was to ask for the no more. Or there was like something, the no more children checkbox wasn't in the API or something. So just because I wanted it for this app.
Right. Yes. That's good. Okay. Well, that looks good. We're looking forward to having that missing links added to the CC7 once you've got it all set.
Yeah, there's still a few more bugs. Like I think if you click the missing links button again while it's selected, it will double the table.
Oh, that's kind of
fun. I just noticed like today, so right before this. So yeah, I still have some testing.
That's right. Well, that reminds me, there's a known bug with the 6 Degrees app. Well, I mean, it's known by me. It's now known by Azure because she ran into it last night because she was trying to create a 6 Degrees chart for the WikiTree challenge guests, the big reveal. And if it's still computing your own 6 Degrees app and you put in someone else's name, if it hasn't finished yours, then it's going to continue on, add the new persons, and then merge them together. So it'll look like you have twice as many connections, and some will be your own, and some will be the other person that you're trying to create. Yeah. So at some point, I'm going to add another button there next to your little missing links button. That'll be the circle chart and from the 6 Degrees app. So, but
yeah,
I've yet to get to that. It's on my to-do list.
I know that there's always like so many things on my to-do list. Like I would love to make a whole bunch of apps, especially like one for like one place studies, like to help me organize stuff. But it's just like I can't commit to that right now. So
So
also, Anne asked if we had to wait until WikiTree Day. If you're talking about the missing links one, I'm hoping to get it live tonight. It just depends on how many bugs I find while I'm doing it.
So, but committing to WikiTree Day, November 5th, that gives you a nice window there. So
yeah. But I kind of want to get it done and off my to-do because I've been there for a while.
I understand that. There's definitely value in that for sure. Yeah. Okay. So is it my turn to end things off with what I've been working on this week? Or do you have another thing to show? I don't want to cut you off.
Let me double check.
That's right.
Nope, it's your turn.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Ian does say that the CC7 shows the number of siblings, so you can look at those and use some imagination. I like that, Ian. Okay, so as you know, I've been working on the Mystery Box Challenge app this month. And so I asked for testers last week, and I did get some new testers, so that was good. Unfortunately, because I had changed some things partway through how it saved the data, a lot of the new testers all of a sudden couldn't finish it. Like you'd pick the 5 profiles and you'd work through them and say they were all done, but at the end, it wouldn't give you a congratulations, and it didn't look like it had recorded it. So I had to fix that halfway through last week. So I believe it is now fixed, and I believe that it all works the way it's supposed to work. And on this Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Vicky Blanco and I will do the big reveal, going through all the features of the app and how it works and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. But between now and then, I do need some more testers to test it out, just to make sure that it all works. One issue that Darren Kellett brought to my attention this morning was that I think there's an issue with the time zones. So when you go to my stats right now, and I'm not sure how much of this was, I think this was done last week as well. So it gives you a list of your own stats, the number of boxes you've completed. So it looks like I've been slacking off this week, but that's because I was doing other stuff or I was working with a different profile and whatnot. So I've got 11 boxes completed. Currently I have no solving streak because I haven't done a box today and I didn't do a box yesterday. And so there's 0 boxes in a row. Now the streak counts how many you have in a row from today back in time. And if you don't have your box done, your mystery box solved for today, but you did have one solved for yesterday, then it'll start counting from yesterday on. So if I had, say, the 28th, 29th, and 30th, it would say I had a 3-day streak. But of course, I'd be in danger of losing that if I didn't do a box today. But it doesn't wipe out the streak until there's a full day in between today and the last time you solve the box. But you'll see that in the most recent box, it gives you the full details of what you did. The box number, the parameters that were used, and the time. And the time includes the time zone. So I knew it was recording the time zone properly. So when I look at Darren, who is one of our favorite WikiTreeers from New Zealand, it always said New Zealand time. So I knew it. Maybe is it New Zealand savings time? Anyways, it was definitely New Zealand time. So I knew it was him or one of his friends who was entering the things. But he was saying that it looked like it gave him credit for doing 2 boxes yesterday, and then today it didn't give him credit for anything. And I think somewhere along the lines, when it's doing date calculations and date comparisons to come up with things like streaks or whatever, some of the times it's using your local time, and some of the times it must be using UTC time or the WikiTree server standard time. So I've got a bug to fix there. So I need to work that out. So if there are people here, especially people who are not in the Eastern zone, who are in different time zones, and the further away you are, the better, because then I can test it out and make sure that it's more robust. Then that would be great, so that we can see how all that works. But I won't get to fixing that time zone bug till a little bit later this afternoon. So I will, in the Discord chat, I'm pointing to my screen that has the Discord open. In the Discord chat, I will post when I am ready for the time zone testers to go through with that. But if you, I would like some additional people to keep on testing this, just to make sure that all the other features work as you expect it would, okay? Vicky and I, well, mostly Vicky, actually. Vicky went through all the suggestions and weeded out some of the ones that were just too wild and too problematic to do. So like some of them with project boxes, or some of them that required 15th century certification to solve, like some of those ones, we just thought, well, that's a little too much. You'll also notice in the centuries, we started 18th, 19th, 20th. We took out the option for 17th century for now. We'll probably throw it back in later after people have some experience. But for now, we thought we would limit it to 18th century and above. That's the 1700s and above. So a few things there. So we still have, of course, the ability to get your stickers. But I've also started working on a page to give not only your own personal stats, but overall stats of how the challenge has happened. So if you click on that, you'll see the overall stats so far. 7 mystery boxes are current. So there's 7 live right now people are working on. 1 has been solved in the last 24 hours. That's number 89. And then there are 40 boxes that have been solved altogether. And here, 77 and 78, I think, are the ones that Darren said that he did on one day. And I don't know if 89 was the one he finished this morning or the one that I'll have to double check where he is. But that's kind of cool to see that. And you can see that specific stats about these active ones. So you can see that 3 of them don't have any movement on the profiles, and then there's 1 each in terms of the number of profiles that have been fixed. So there's one that's almost ready to go, almost completely solved. So that's kind of cool. And then a little chart by the parameters, so you can sort of see, and then a chart by the places that people are working on. And then I have a similar one for all of the solved ones. And so you can see easy 19th century is the most popular set of parameters. And then anywhere seems to be pretty popular by place, next to United States. And then the super grid shows sort of a combination. You can see all the parameters at once if you're a real data geek, and then by date, sort of like a sideways bar chart there. The 26th was the most prolific date so far, and there's our one for today. So that's the new feature, and this should be so when you solve a box, currently the link to this challenge stats is only in my stats, so you have to go to my stats. I'm going to tweak it a little bit, but once I'm finished tweaking, then I'm going to have a button next to the my stats at the bottom, so you can always jump from wherever you are to see the whole general challenge stats. But right now you have to go into my stats first and then go to the challenge stats button. But once you've solved the box for today, if you go to the challenge stats, that box should show up in the boxes solved. If it doesn't, let me know, because that would be a bug. But I think it works. Anyways, I couldn't do an app without stats, especially one with just dying for stats.
That's fun.
Is that fun?
Yeah, I like saying stats too. So.
Yeah. I was considering having a checkbox here to hide or show the boxes, because they do take up a fair bit of screen real estate. So, but I think it makes kind of fun. But anyways, we'll see.
In like 6 months, I mean, like, is this app going to be available just ongoing, or is it just for like WikiTree Week?
Oh, it's ongoing. We're unveiling the challenge for WikiTree Week, but it's going to be an ongoing one through the whole, until people are sick of it, I guess. So at some point,
like thousands of boxes in the stats. At some
exactly.
point.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out when we get to that scale. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. The other thing you should know if you're testing it, don't get too attached to the box numbers that you've done in your stats, because I'm going to be resetting it when we do the live cast on Sunday night. So, but I do need things here so that you can see, so that I can test things out. Oh, I guess one of the things I could show. Oh, I've got a box on the go. Let me just return that box right now. One of the things I did change, let me go intermediate 20th century, and let me just put in Ontario. I changed this page, or I added coding for this page here when you're picking the boxes, so that it doesn't give you 6 rows of emptiness from box 1 to 60, because all of those ones have been taken. And so it shores up the empty space and then just adds extra rows as needed. So there'll always be boxes to choose from. Now, if people are strategic, you could make it as few as 5 boxes on the screen, because it waits for 2 empty rows before it shores up the next one. So you could potentially have a box at 79, then a blank row, and then a box at 102, then a blank row, and then a box at 132. So if you really wanted to play with the algorithm, there are ways of making it, but you couldn't get any less than 5 boxes on a screen. So at least there's always some choice. But anyways, that was kind of fun to code, that little tweak there. But I knew I needed to do that because if it takes off really wild during WikiTree week and I hadn't figured out that algorithm in advance, I'd be under a lot of pressure because it could be a very blank screen and that would have been bad after box 100 got chosen. So that's it for the mystery box challenge. So the big news is I still need more testers to test it and make sure that it's working smoothly. And so if you get something that's not working right, if your WikiTree ID isn't jiving with it, especially if you have something fancy like apostrophes or spaces in your WikiTree ID name, those are things that traditionally always trip me up on my apps. So let me know about that. And also if the stats are updating when you think they should be. So yeah, and the ability to type in a place name. I don't know if I showed that off last week or not, but yeah, you can type in any place name. I did find if you're too specific, then there may not be enough suggestions, so it has to go wider and pick other ones that are not from that area. But anyways, we'll talk more about that on Sunday night when we kick off WikiTree week with the preview on at 8 o'clock evening Eastern time. So, yeah. So any other questions from the chat that we saw? Okay.
Don't think so.
Anne gives a thumbs up. No way, I'll be sick of it. Okay, so we have at least one WikiTree who wants to keep on doing it forever. So there we go.
Oh wait, Tommy has a question.
And Tommy, I could base it on WikiTree server time, and I was considering doing that originally, but I thought that, because that's fairly arbitrary, and that means that people like Darren in New Zealand have to mentally divide their day between whatever time that would be, 5 in the morning, or 6 in the afternoon. I'm not sure exactly when the time changes. So I could do that, but I'd prefer to do it so that it's your local time, so that in your head, you know that if it's before midnight, then it's time you can get your mystery box challenge in for the day. And if it's after, then you've missed it or whatever, so that you don't have to do all those mental gymnastics. So ideally, I will figure out a way so that we can, so it'll work that way properly. But I think I just did some date calculations, and I think in the subtraction or the addition, I didn't make sure that they were both the same time zone. Because of course, for me, it doesn't matter because they are the same time zone. The WikiTree server and my time zone, I believe, are the same, or at least they seem to be. So, but they shouldn't be, should they?
I think it's like UTC is the time zone.
Well, then why is it? Well, or it could be that the time zone difference, because it's only 4 hours difference for me. So maybe I have to work either 4 hours before midnight or 4 hours after midnight for the difference to make for it to make a difference for me. And I guess I don't program that lately. Okay. It is UTC, Azure says. Yeah, so I'm just being too lazy. I'm going to bed too early, or I'm turning off my programming. By then, my programming brain I don't trust it anymore because it's so tired from the day.
Yeah, so Azure said that there's a setting where you can use server time or not, although it doesn't work everywhere. So
yeah.
So it's inconsistent, but the main server time is UTC. So.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to play with that and see what happens. Okay, so more testers, welcome for the Mystery Box app, and yeah, I think that's all I had to say. Thank you, Jamie, for co-hosting with me for all of this Hacktoberfest live roundup stats updates that we've been doing.
I'm very glad that you were hosting or co-hosting, because I was probably pretty boring by myself.
No, you've done a great job. You've done a great job showing off all the stuff you've been working on and that Real has been working on, and Ian and others. You've done an excellent job. So really enjoyed that. And thanks, of course, to everyone who's been joining us live here in the chat and those who are watching us after the fact. So you can always comment.
There's a last minute question.
Oh, what's this?
Well, let's sneak it in. Okay, what was your question?
Okay, I have a question about
while we're waiting. So I just wanted to mention that I think, as I mentioned at the beginning, even though Hacktoberfest is ending today, you can add to the, if you have the ability to program, you can add to the code anytime. I might be a little bit slower to review code changes, but if you make to tree apps, and if I am, then don't feel bad reminding me that you've made a code change that I need to review. But if you make one for the WikiTree browser extension, usually Ian will review it like that same day. So those are pretty quick.
Amazing. Just amazing.
So yeah, so if you can program and you have an idea for a change, like, feel free to jump in, even though it's not.
Yeah, that's great. So has TG come? He hasn't come back. TG, what question did you have about the ancestor cemeteries? Oh, it uses
the category.
The categories, yeah. Yeah. It's not the find a grave that it's coming from. It's from the categories. So you can have a, let's see. Let's see if I can find.
The final.
Let's see.
Final bit.
I'm trying to find my. There we go. There's a category there. There's no category there. I'm trying to find the one that has a category. That's the wrong one. Oh well. Yeah, it's the category. You have to put in the category for the cemetery, and when you're in edit mode, you can just click on the categories button to do that.
Yep. Also, this made me laugh.
Hack member test. Oh, hack member fest.
Trading brag and hack member fest. Ian can host the live video chats for that, right?
Right. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
And then the very last thing before we end, don't forget to guess when we'll reach 40 million profiles.
Yeah. Excellent. Good stuff. Thanks again, everyone. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, everyone, all the developers who have been helping us out. And come back and join us either 8 o'clock on Sunday night to watch the official reveal and official opening of the WikiTree mystery box challenge and WikiTree week. And then on WikiTree Day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, we will have another Hacktoberfest wrap up for everyone. Okay, see you then. Bye.